Hi everyone, welcome back. I'll be doing another real quick video today. The topic will be double walls. Um, I'm on a friendly PvP server now, but in my few hundred hours, about 400 I guess, on official PvPs, I did the main building for my tribe. There are hundreds of ways to build good defensive bases in PvP. I'm not going to go into extreme details about that, simply because you're going to want to listen to a guy with 3 or 4,000 hours. However, I do find double walls extremely effective as far as even setting up mazes go and making things a little bit complicated. We always have to remember, though, that in Arc, if someone flies in fast enough or moves in fast enough or has a lower RAM computer or twisted settings and whatnot, that Arc renders from the inside out. So people will still be able to see inside your base. But they can't see inside a vault. So, you place enough vaults in there, it might take them time to find out which vault actually has all the good stuff in it. Anyways, if you enjoy the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. If you want to play on one of our servers, of course, all the information to join is in the bottom, in the comments section. So let's get going. You'll see here that I'm building with extra foundations out on the side. I'm going to remove those later. The big thing here is snap points. Because there are two foundations, side by each, as they say here, or side by side, it gives us two snap points. So, look at that. Okay, so now we have a double wall, and which is great. That's sort of what we're looking for. My thing about PvP in general is I do want it to cost a lot of time and money if anyone decides to come and invade my base. And the more time it takes, the more time I might have to come back. The more it costs, as in C4, rockets, whatever, a giga, whatever they decide to do to get through here, the more time, the more cost, the more discouraging it is for them maybe to even come attack. So I tended to build these big monster bases that were actually quite small inside because of of all the layers of metal it takes to get through into the middle, and then you're going to be working through a whole bunch of vaults. So as you can see, it's very, very easy to snap these like this, and sometimes I like to mess around a little bit. I might put a stone wall on the outside, wood or thatch, if you're trying to trick some noobs into thinking that maybe that base is weak and they can come on in and attack. There'll be a pretty good surprise for them. The key thing here to getting those to snap, of course, is there has to be two. And even once I've placed it, I can remove that extra foundation and the wall stays double. Now there will be some frustration on this build. It's going to cost you a lot of resources. The frustrating part is as you build up, that happens. Okay? The snap point, it was in the right place, but it still just keeps deciding to destroy it. I'm using vanilla parts, but obviously with S+, where you can pick up the piece, helps a lot. But it's going to auto demo when it overlays that. So I won't even start a build like this unless I have on the island. I'll use my frog for cementing paste, my ankilo for metal. I'm going to need my argent to bring stuff back and forth, and probably, a doed wouldn't hurt. But your main things, you got to get that cementing paste and that metal. So without it, you're going to do a lot of grinding to build something big like this. This is more for when you have a lot of time. Of course, to make it cost somebody else a lot to get in there, it's going to cost you a lot as well. So we're almost kind of wrapping this up. My big demonstration was just to show you how to get those double walls down. But let's just show you a little bit about what I might do with those doors. And oh good, I do have the doors. Believe it or not, we can actually get two doors placed here. Get that one open just to get a little out of the way. And this is going to be annoying every time you go in the base. Another thing I used to do is the entire outside walls on the first level would all be doors. And there'd only be one door that actually leads me into the base. The rest would just lead to a bunch of small squares. And if you really have a lot of time, and I mean a lot, and resources, what's going to confuse the heck out of somebody is if your entire inside of your pyramid, common build, giant square, whatever it is, if it's just constantly doors, frames, walls, and a mess of vaults, it's going to take them a lot of time to figure out where your stuff is at, even if they zoom in and get a look at the inside. It's not a long look necessarily every time. we're going to open that door there just in case, make this a little bit easier to be sure it places correctly. There we go. And you just keep going like this, just rinse and repeat, and it's just going to get more and more confusing. And finally, in the center of the whole thing would be my small room with a few vaults in it, or the bigger you can go, the bigger you can go. And as mentioned, we're going to later on remove all these foundations from the outside. S plus demo gun, S plus stuff really helps being able to pick things up. If you're playing on officials though, you won't have that luxury, so there's going to be a lot of waste in this build. As opposed to removing them, of course, we could add some stone walls around the outside, but we will not be able to double up walls unless there's a second foundation, because that gives us our second snap point. So instead of removing them, if you don't want to waste too much, just put another layer of metal, stone, wood, thatch, whatever it is, all along the outside. Obviously the metal's a lot more effective as far as damage that it takes goes. You see it's coming in at 10,000 there on the door frame. And on the wall, another 10,000. So as they keep trying to cut through door frames and cut through walls, they're just using more and more C4. They're using more and more time if they're breaking through metal with one of the dinos. Meanwhile, you know, you have your dinos possibly counterattacking. And another fun but dirty trick, it won't hurt to, if you want to throw a couple little fun dinos that they're going to have to face off with as they go through. Just creates a little more frustration, a little more stress, and buys you a little bit more time to get back to base and defend yourself. Not a whole lot more to be said here. You're going to get creative on your own and go nuts with it. Just wanted to demonstrate a little bit about how to do those double walls. And, you know, layers and layers and layers, guys. There's just no way to get through that. I don't care what server you're on. More money, more time, less chance. That's kind of a rule there. And that'll apply in life as well. I mean, if you're going to want to invade another country, a lot of times you're going to look at the cost ahead of time on what that's going to be. So the same rule applies here. A lot of times what might work out in real life will work out here. And I might have this thing, you know, 50 by 50 foundations, and it's only a 10 by 10. And the entire outside first layer is doors. Everything's a double door frame. Without painting or marking anything, I would be the only one that knows which door actually leads into that center room. And go nuts with the squares. Doesn't hurt to put ceiling pieces there if you can afford it. The more and more metal you can get down, the more and more stuff they're going to have to blow up. You can place narco traps, all kinds of explosive traps, and whatever else you can get your hands on as far as weapons go in these little cubicles. You know, this would be our main entrance per se. But if it wasn't, and over here was all blocked off, you see C4's pretty good chance whatever's in there might get wrecked. But on the off chance that it doesn't, especially like a dino, that's going to do some damage as it comes through and give them a little bit of a surprise. Again, you're buying time and you're costing people. You know, a lot of times, and especially the more toxic PvP environments, you may get people that are going around wiping noobs on the beaches, and they're going to spend a lot more of their time picking on the little guy. And if you can just project that you're going to be a costly investment when it comes to invading, then you're going to have at least maybe reduce some of those attacks. So that's it for today, guys. Again, like, subscribe, follow. A whole bunch of other videos there on my YouTube, and we do live streams every night as well on a couple different apps. So take a look at all that stuff. If you want to play on my servers, once again, just go ahead and jump right down into the bottom of the comments section where you'll find links. Thank you very much, everyone, and have a great day. I'm going to head out because it's starting to rain.